Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks, and this is part 2. And this drawing is pretty cool. It just needs some cleaning up. I can get rid of stuff you don't need, and a lot of times I'm going to use the shape tool to do this instead of the pick tool, but we can do the pick tool too because the curve is broken apart. And I'm just going to kind of clean up this image a little bit for this person, or just show you how you could clean up an image, and just kind of use your imagination. And that looks a lot better. I'd still clean up this, but we're mainly concerned about the grill. And the grill has 2 equal parts, basically. This one has more work needed than this one. So what I'm going to do is take a 2-point line, and I'm going to, well, you could either take a 2-point line or your shape tool and join these nodes. And then I'm going to get rid of this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And now I'm also going to clean up this other part. So I'm going to look at it with the shape tool, and these are almost touching, and now we can take our virtual segment delete key and delete that. We might get lucky there, but no, because it's leaking on the bottom. So whatever you don't have a join, and this might be too far to join, but we're going to try it. Now I can take the virtual segment delete key and delete this. Now that looks a lot better. So instead of doing that to the other side, what I think would be beneficial would be to take a 2-point line and do this right here and get your smart fill tool and fill that in. Now, I don't like moving without nudging, but I'm going to in this case. Now, I think the other part is separated, so I'm going to see if I can't delete this. And yes, I can. Whoop, went too far. I touched something I shouldn't touch. Now, stay with me here. You'll see in just a second. Now, I should have nudged that, but I'm going to put it right back where it was. And we've got some other car parts that look pretty good. And I'm going to say this one right here. And I'm going to nudge it over, put it right back. So we're going to take this and we're going to left click, right click, and let's go ahead and keep it red. And now I'm going to move this other part down. I don't want it touching. Well, and this is where your artistic ability would, kind of come in. Let's see what happens when we do this. I don't know what the exact grill looks like, but that looks pretty good. I'm just going to take out a few nodes. And I'm going to hit the plus sign on the keyboard. And I'm just going to move this over, hit the plus sign. Because I don't want the duplicate key to keep edging it on. Plus key, and just kind of move this over. And really, I think these would look better if I reversed them. Let's see if we can't do that. Whoop. So what we can do is take the shift key and select them all. Let's go ahead and group them together, Control G, and then let's mirror them. And actually, then we could rotate them. Then let's mirror them the other way too. That's kind of like what we had. I just think the curvature really needs to go the other side, but you get the idea. Play with it just a little bit more. And then we could take and hold down the shift key and grab this and Control G it. And then let's just try this. Hold down the Control key and mirror. I didn't make a duplicate of it. Control D. Now, his file is set on 5mm. I'm going to set it to 0, 0, and this is Y for doing this exact same thing. Now, this should just flip over, but it's a little bit of an angle. But we can fix that. So in just a few minutes, we actually need to put it there. And then I would look at the original picture. And maybe let's move this one in. That to me looks much, much better than that. And I would, now that I'm looking at this, I could have just made 2 lines. So you could have had individual lines there, but you could play around with that. So just kind of use your imagination. And before I made a copy, I should have taken the smoothing tool. Let's make our smoothing tool a little bit smaller. And I know nothing about centimeters. And I'm the first. So I would smooth this out a little bit before I would have made my copy. You know, make this, since you're working on it anyway, make this the showplace of the deal, and then you could have copied over here, and that would have been more perfect. But other than that, I'd take out a little bit of this garbage, and like this one right here, can't really do much about it. So I just take the pick tool and just delete this guy. And actually, this next object right here would look good in the grill. That would have looked good if that would have been inside the grill, this piece right here. And you could always take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in and use that for your grill piece, because that looks like a pretty good curvature. You know, let's just do that. Let's go up to Object, Group, and Ungroup. And let's get rid of those and put this guy in there. And maybe make it a little bit bigger. And then also another thing you could do, let's don't duplicate this guy. Let's put him right here. And let's hit the plus sign and put him here. And then let's make this one just a hair smaller. This will be a good little trick. And then hold down the Shift key, selecting them both, and go to Effects and Blend. And let's make 3 copies of that blend. And you know, you could back up. You don't even have to back up. You could just add a copy and hit Apply. And all kinds of stuff you could do, just depending on what you want it to look like. Anyway, I hope that helps somewhat. Thank you for watching.